I'm about to show you how to skyrocket your webinar signups with a landing page that converts like crazy. We're going to be using Thrive Suite to build it, which is going to help us boost conversions and set our funnel up for success. All right, let's get started. Welcome to Thrive Themes, a magical YouTube channel where we love teaching about web design, web development, marketing, business, and all things WordPress. You're more than welcome to hit the subscribe button if you like any of these topics or if you find these sort of videos useful. All right, let's jump straight into subject matter. In order to design a good landing page that can get us some really nice conversions for our webinar, we need to check off a few different things. Of course, the design of our page needs to inspire trust. We're going to be doing this by using good quality images and designing a nice layout that is clean and that pushes people to convert and to take action. This last part is going to be super easy because we can just rely on Thrive Architect's templates to do this for us. We also want to create and generate some sort of a FOMO, a fear of missing out in visitors. We want to make users feel like, like they really need to take action now as they're looking at our landing page to not miss the webinar that could very well inspire them to improve their lives or work. And of course, we also need to use compelling copy that resonates with their problems and how our webinar can help them overcome those problems. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be putting ourselves in the shoes of a financial advisor doing a webinar that trains people on the benefits of trading options to increase the income that people generate through the stock market. All right, let's get to building. Perfect. So I'm in the back end of WordPress. I've already got Thrive Suite installed on my WordPress website. If you need any help with that, there is a video here that can help you out with that. But for the purpose of saving us a little bit of time, we're going to skip through that procedure, which is super easy, and jump straight into actually building our landing page. So let's jump over into WordPress pages. Let's add a new page. Let's call this our webinar opt-in page. Give it a more appropriate name in your case. But for the sake of just showing you how I build it, I'm just going to give this testing name. And we're going to fire up the page with Thrive Architect. So the beauty behind Thrive Architect is that you can actually start off from a pre-designed page template. And I'm going to show you some of the cool ones that we've already designed for you so that you don't have to spend any time designing the page from scratch. Okay, so let's start off from a pre-built landing page. And let's just start off with something that looks like it could be appropriate for a webinar. So let's do maybe the Consultant Smart. And we could probably go with this Consultation Smart booking page as it's very personal branding oriented. We can adjust the copy and even insert some other block templates to make it more appropriate for the kind of webinar that we're trying to run. But this out of the box already seems like something we could potentially use for our webinar, right? I mean, we've got testimonials, we've got a little bit of information about us, which is going to help us build authority on the actual opt-in page. It's great because we don't distract people with any unnecessary headers or footers, and there's plenty of call to actions throughout. We could probably actually insert some more, right? We've got one at the top and one at the bottom. But anyways, for the sake of this video, let's actually build the page from scratch, okay? So in this case, I'm gonna change the template and I'm gonna start from a completely blank page. You're gonna see me build this page from a completely blank canvas. And look, since we're talking to people, it's important that you understand who you're talking to, right? When you're designing your pages. In my case, since I'm putting myself in the shoes of a financial advisor, I kind of want to set the tone of my page to be somewhat serious, right? I mean, I don't want to have any bright colors on my page, or at least I want to make sure that the overall tone and mood of my page is serious, right? I mean, we're talking about helping people make more money off of their money. So, I kind of want to have my design inspire or transmit that sort of mood and message to my visitors. And I'm saying this because I'm actually going to be using black or a light version of black as my main background color for my sections. I'm going to make this section height match the height to screen. And we're going to start off with this black background section. Perfect. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to drag in a content box. And inside my content box, I'm going to drag and drop two columns. In my right-hand column, I shall have an image of me, Meet Your Financial Advisor. So what I've done is I've exported, a couple years ago, this is probably before the pandemic, so I've lost a little bit of hair, but I went out and I actually spent a good decent amount of money taking good photos of myself, right? Because I wanted to make sure that I could come across as being an authority in my space when I'm putting myself out there on a website, right? And I've said this many times, it doesn't matter if you're marketing yourself, and if you are marketing yourself, do the same. Go out there, spend some money on a good photographer, have them take good photos of you and your workspace, because you will be needing those images if you're putting yourself out there in a personal branding way. But even if you're not marketing yourself, if you're marketing, books, or if you're marketing microphones, or if you're selling computers, go out there and make sure that you have good photos of whatever it is that you're selling, because those good graphics or those good photographs will inspire trust in visitors that visit your website, and they will make the difference between getting a conversion or not. So go ahead and do that. Now, why did I upload two images of myself? Well, we're going to talk about this later, but for now, let's just go ahead and operate with this image. I didn't do the best of jobs with Photoshop. You can kind of see the white contour here around my head, but anyways, let's just power with this for now. And since I'm positioned in that way, I'm actually thinking that I might want to have the image on the left-hand column instead. Yeah, I think that's actually better. Not bad. Perfect. Next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of all of these margins and paddings. And I'm going to have to get rid of these margins for this image. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that my image, or the image of me, sits right at the bottom of this background section. So in order to make my life a little bit easier as I work in this section, I'm going to drag and drop another background section underneath it, just so that I can see where exactly my image is positioned. And now using the breadcrumbs, I shall select the content box here. Yeah, again, we're going to get rid of some of these paddings here towards the bottom. And this background section right now, Thrive Architect by default always positions things, every element towards the top of its parent container. Okay, so inside this background section, again, we've got a content box, which is positioned at the very top of the background section. But we can change this, right? We can tell Thrive Architect, hey, I'd like for you to position this content box, or every child element inside this background section towards the bottom of the background section. And you can now see how I'm sitting at the very edge of the section that we're working on, right? Pretty cool. That is the objective. I think I can now uncheck this match height to screen option, and perhaps just insert maybe 92 pixels of top padding, which on mobile I will definitely want. It's not too bad. Let's actually do this. Let's select these columns, and on mobile I'm going to reverse the order of these columns, right? I don't want the image to show up above the content that we're about to place, but rather I want to reverse the column order and make sure that the copy comes before the image. That's pretty good. I'm actually not unhappy with that. Great. Now we can drag and drop some text inside this column. Actually, I'm thinking I may want to put this inside a content box first. And we're going to drag that in there. We're going to insert an H1. And we're going to make this white. Excellent. And the copy can be tired of the same old return on the S&P 500. Let's drag and drop some more text underneath this. Again, let's make it white. I'm not dissatisfied with this font, Victory, right now. I think it's okay. Maybe a little bit too fun for, again, the kind of mood that we're trying to create. But for now, I'm going to leave it as it is. I'm not too I'm satisfied with that. So let's do discover the ins and outs of how options trading can help you, I don't know, 2x or 3x or 10x. Let's try to keep it real. 3x your return on your capital. And again, important, we want to make sure that we're using language that inspires people to really take action. And if we can inspire that sense of urgency and that sense of fear of missing out, even better. So what we're going to do is, for the call to action, I am going to change this up a little bit. I'm going to use some sort of orange. I'm going to change the background color here for this button, and we're going to make this type of orange. I'm going to see this as a favorite. I like this orange. Let's change up the typography here. Get rid of the line spacing. Maybe bold it. Yeah, let's bold that, and let's do reserve your spot now. And something that I think I want to try to do is, let's drag and drop an image here above these columns, and I'm going to insert my logo. Now, I am using a dark logo, which is not going to work over a dark background, but something really cool that Thrive Architect can do is, without needing to run my image by Pixelmator or Photoshop, I can jump into image effects and invert the color. Isn't that cool? In just about 1 second. Pretty nice, right? I do have a background section here where, oh no, sorry, this is the padding. I'm thinking I may want to bring down the padding here now. Let's make it perhaps 64. And I think I want to increase the distance between the image and the columns underneath it. So let's try adding some margin here. Let's do 32. And you'll notice as I'm switching the margins and paddings that I always try to use multiples of 4s, right? I'm adding either 32 pixels of bottom margin, or I'm adding perhaps 20 or 40 pixels of gutter width. Why am I doing these things? Well, I have a really cool video explaining how to use margins and paddings, how to properly use margins and paddings, I shall add. Check it out. It's really cool in case you haven't done that yet. But anyways, back to the topic here that we're discussing. So I'm starting to like this. I think I'm starting to like this. Maybe the image is sitting a little bit too far off the edge of the screen. So perhaps we can just center this, position this to the center of the column. Yeah, that's much, much better. And this is starting to look pretty cool, right? Tired of the same old return on the S&P 500? Discover the ins and outs of how options trading can help you 3x your return on your capital. Reserve your spot now. I still feel like we need a little bit of a something, right? I feel like we need a countdown timer. So for the countdown timer, we're going to jump over into Thrive Leads. Let's jump over into the back end of dashboard. Let's do Thrive Leads. And we're going to create a new type of lead group. We're going to call this webinar FOMO. And we want to create a new type of opt-in form, which is going to be of type ribbon. Let's add a form to this group, and we're going to call this ribbon countdown FOMO, for example. And let's edit the design of this ribbon. So the kind of objective that I want to have, or that I want to try to accomplish here with Thrive Leads, is I want to be able to display a banner, a ribbon across my page that pushes people again to take action. How are we going to do that? Let's do this. Let's insert a ribbon here. Maybe perhaps we can do a 2-step ribbon. That would be nice. Let's do this one. Let's do a simple highlight 2-step with Lightbox. That could be a cool one. So, of course, we haven't talked about what actually happens when you want people to, well, after people opt in into your webinar, right? If you're using something like Webinar Jam or any kind of other webinar hosting solution, you probably don't need a 2-step solution, a 2-step opt-in form here for your ribbon, right? You could just have this button redirect people to your Webinar Jam registration page. In my case, I simply run my webinars either through a hidden YouTube live stream or through a hidden Vimeo live stream or something like that, or a a StreamYard stream. But so in that case, what I do is I simply collect people's email address. I put them inside Drip, or you can put them inside ActiveCampaign or ConvertKit or any other email marketing solution. And when the time comes, you can simply email your list the link to access your webinar. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do here, just to keep the font consistent. Let's do Fig Tree. Subscribe now. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Subscribe now. You probably don't want to do that. We probably want to do reserve your spot. I don't think I need this to be this wide. And here, let's do a countdown timer. Countdown. That is going to count down all the way up. That is going to count down. Let's just do a simple one here. Probably not a dark one because, again, we do have a dark page. Actually, yeah, it could work. Let's try changing the background color here for these. Just do background style. Perhaps the orange. Yeah, orange is going to look nice. The text can probably be black, because the actual ribbon can remain as white. It's going to create a nice contrast, right? If we're going to have a dark hero section, a white ribbon, it could work. Let's give it a shot. And here we can get rid of all of this chunk of text and perhaps just do opt-in to find out how to start making money with options. Center this. Let's change the color of the highlight. Actually, let's try doing something even simpler. Let's get rid of this content box here underneath it. Let's make this Fig Tree bold 700, and we can probably use an actual highlight. Let's do maybe like an arced one, or I think there's the zigzag one is pretty cool. Let's make it orange just to be consistent. And I do want to make sure that there isn't, this maximum width here. Great. Now this ribbon is too tall. I don't like the fact that it's just this tall. Maybe we put this here. Opt-in to find out how to start making money with options. Reserve your spot. Countdown timer, we can modify here. Let's just assume that it starts on December 1st. We've got 15 days to go. And when people click this button, yes, I'm interested, this button is going to trigger a lightbox, which we can modify here inside lightbox number 1. And here we can just have people opt in. I'm not going to spend more time customizing this because I'm already taking up a whole lot of your time. But hopefully you get the idea what we're trying to do, right? We want to really create that sense of FOMO. I want people to see at the very top of my page, hey, you got 15 days to go. You could even change this or use Thrive Ultimatum to make sure that it says 3 days to go or something. But for the sake of just powering through this example, I really just want to show you that that feeling of FOMO is important. So we're going to save our work. I think we can close this now. I'm not entirely sold on the black. Let's give it a shot now. Let's go back to the ribbon page. We want this to display all the time towards the top of our page. It displays, let's just say that it's going to display 6 seconds after our page finishes loading. And we want to make sure that this is turned on at least on desktop. All right, let's hit save and let's preview the page. Okay, not bad, not bad. As we scroll down the page, that top ribbon is still going to be there and people can always just close it. But you kind of get the gist of it, right? I mean, it's working. I like it. I could spend a little bit of more time making it look a little bit nicer. I still think it's a little bit too tall for what I want it to look like. But nonetheless, I do have a design pickiness here that's a little bit, that's bugging me a little bit. I think I want to move the logo, put it here above the text element, position it towards the left, And perhaps get rid of this margin. Let's maybe make 20 pixels. And I think maybe like a little bit of margin just to make sure that I have it aligned. Yeah, that's looking good. I think I like that better. And let's make sure that why isn't my image positioned towards the bottom? Let's go to column and let's put, yeah, there you go. Let's center things towards let's vertically align things towards the bottom here in this left-hand column. Perfect. Let's hit save. And we're now ready to start working on our second section. Now, just because I want to create this mood of being, in the finance space, I want to set a serious tone for my visitors. I don't want to just have one page that makes use of a black background all along, right? So in order to create a little bit of contrast, I am going to switch up the background color and have it be a little bit lighter. So it's going to be, that is exactly the same color, not that one. So let's just try to make this a little lighter. Perfect. And at least that is going to give us a sense of contrast in between sections. Okay, so we got tired of the same old return on the S&P 500, discover the ins and outs of how options trading can help you 3x your return on your capital. Perfect. Let's just continue to build. And I'm actually, just for the sake of saving us a little bit of time, let's just go ahead and power through this with Thrive Architect templates, which are going to be great. So I'm using Expert as my Thrive Theme Builder theme. My WordPress theme is being powered by Thrive Theme Builder and has Expert enabled as a companion theme. And that means that I get a lot of really, really nice coaching-oriented block designs that I can just drag and drop into Thrive Architect. So I would imagine that we can probably use a section here about our journey. And I will probably have to change the background color here for this section. It's not bad to use a white section either. But let's try to make it black, just out of curiosity. Not bad. Let me just change the font color here. Okay. And in fact, I can probably come here to my style panel. Fonts, nope. Colors. And let's just make this white. Let's make this white. Perfect. And just imagine that I'm filling this up with copy. Something that I do want to try to do is clone this button, put it here towards the bottom of the style list. Make sure that we're using consistent call to actions throughout. All right, this isn't bad. Let's keep on working on this. I probably at this point want to give people a taste of what they're going to learn throughout the webinar. So let's try to find a block for that. Great. So here under benefits and features, there's a here's what you're going to get section. That is something that we could probably use as, here's what you learn. And, you could take one of these features of your opt-in offer and add, this will allow you to blah, blah, blah. So here's what people get by opting into the webinar, right? And we can modify this like, options trading 101, everything about put contracts, everything about call options, and time management skills. Sounds good. Perfect. I think that at this point, I probably gonna want to go back to using black as my main background color though. Let's try to do that. Let's do 232323. Let's make it 100. And I do probably want to change this back to white. Okay. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Something we're missing, reserve your spot now. Let's drag and drop that below our columns. Probably want to center this to the center. And let's give this background section a little bit of more bottom padding. Let's do 80. Excellent. Great. So now we have 80 pixels here separating the edge of our background section and the first child element. And we also have 80 pixels separating this call to action and the bottom of our background section. So that's good. I do want to make sure that we have that consistency. Great. At this point, I think I do probably want to have a section here about testimonials, people that have already taken my course. Let's go ahead and find something here for testimonials. And let's do, yeah, images. I like images. It's better when you, I don't know, we humans connect better with testimonials when we look at people's faces, even if we know that they might not be, people's real faces, but it helps us draw a connection between the story that the testimonial is trying to tell and where that story is coming from. It's just like there's less of a cognitive dissonance, which is why you'll almost always see on almost every sales page testimonials accompanied by faces. They just work better. Anyways, let's change the background style. We're gonna make that 232323. Excellent. That's perfect. Here's what people think about our training. Training, webinar. Let's do webinar. And I actually do probably want to change that back to 323232, which is our other type of background color. So as you can see, I'm separating containers. I'm separating sections by modifying the background color, but the background color doesn't completely or drastically change, right? I'm going from a subtle black to a more grayish tone of black. But I'm not contrasting sections by using black and then red or black and then green. No, these are subtle changes. The only instance in which I wouldn't be opposed in creating a huge contrast in background colors would be if we're switching from black to white or white to black. Black and white play really well. That would probably be the only instance. Yeah. Okay, so we have a section here that tries to really pain point or go after what people might be feeling that want to make them opt in into my webinar in the first place, right? If I'm talking to someone that wants to trade options, people that trade options are people that are very knowledgeable about the stock market. Like I don't need to train them on what a stock is or what a dividend is. And I'm really addressing what they might be feeling, which in most cases when people trade options is because they're tired of just getting a low return on their investments on a yearly basis. So if you're tired of the same old return on the S&P 500, hey, there's a new option for you. By the way, I'm not a financial advisor. If you're watching this, don't ever listen to me talk about money. Just want to make that clear. This is just an example of how you can take a coach or a coaching persona or kind of, your expertise and put yourself out there. It's just about really nailing down what the pain points of your target audience are and how you can transmit people that you've got the solutions to helping them solve those pain points. So, okay. And with that said, we've got a section here that really tries to address what those pain points are. We can talk about ourselves. Why are we even fit to really run this webinar? A quick list of what people are going to get out of this webinar, what people that have taken the webinar are saying about it. At this point, we can probably, again, up the stakes and really focus on their pain points again. So let's try to find another block here that allows us to express or to illustrate that we understand what our visitors are feeling and what they're going through. So in this case, we're going to go through, maybe let's do this. Let's do steps. And here, instead of this book cover, by the way, I kind of like this contrast of going from, this would have been actually a really nice match, really nice fit, right? Using this color and this gray, it would have been nice. It doesn't look too bad, right? But I kind of don't want to introduce a random color here throughout the page. So let's go again and switch this to 232323. And here, let's change this to an image of Tony. Okay, that's probably not the best image, but for now, let's just go with it. Let's do this is obviously not a book, but maybe we can do presented presented by Tony Lewis. And here is this webinar is for you if 1, you're tired of simply chasing whatever the S&P 500 is giving you year over year. You understand that there's only so much money you can make by playing it safe. You are in a good position to take on some more risk in your investing journey. You want to really see a solid return on your capital that goes beyond what the tech giants can give you. You want to be free. Or you don't want to be free, but you want real financial freedom. Okay. And again, we're probably going to want a call to action here underneath the style list. Excellent. I skipped the call to action here in the testimonial section. You could probably have it, but I kind of want to bombard people with a call to action, but I also don't really feel like, it's okay if we skip it for one section. Excellent. And at one point, guys, we're going to definitely need a section here that lets people opt in, right? So let's do that. Let's have a lead generation block that pushes people to opt in. Now, I will include my face here once again, but since I just had my face here, it's going to look really awkward to just, put myself again on the page. So I'm thinking that maybe we can change this image. So let's do this. Let's change this image back to Tony's face. And instead of using Tony's image here, we can probably grab an image, a royalty-free image of something that resonates with options trading. Now, important, before uploading any images onto your WordPress media library, make sure that you're optimizing them. First thing that I always do is run them by Pixelmator. I do want to make sure that they're high quality, but I don't need them to be humongous, right? So this is probably just fine. And this is already probably way too big. I probably don't need this to be 1920 by 1080. But anyways, let's just go with this. Let's do stock image. Excellent. I don't know that I love this actually. What if we simply get rid of this and we add the image here as an image of the column itself? Yeah, I think this is going to be better. This webinar is for you if you're tired. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. Could use some work. I'm not 100% sold on it. Let me know down in the comment section below if you have any ideas for this particular section. It's not bad, but I also don't know that it's also going to come into conflict with this section underneath it. I'm going to need something here that breaks these two sections apart. So I'm thinking that number one, first things first. As a rule of thumb, if I have a series of 2-column layouts, I have one row with 2 columns here and then 1 row with 2 columns. I kind of try to avoid putting the image, if there's an image on either side of the column, twice in a row on the same side, if that makes any sense, right? So if I'm using an image here on the left-hand side, I kind of want to have the image here on the right-hand side. With Thrive Architect, it's super easy. I can just select these 2 columns and reverse the column order. Boom. Okay, that already makes it a little bit better, right? but I did just break the layout. So let's try doing it the other way around. Let's change the order of these columns just because it's going to be easier for us to maintain the overlapping layout without messing with margins and paddings and all of that. So this is better. Okay, perfect. And here, let's just change the background color. Let's make it black. Let's do 232323. And this column, let's do 232323. Hashtag 23. And this button needs to be orange. And I probably don't need all of those rounded borders. Let's just make this, I think this is probably like 15. No, let's make it 10. Just to match the brownness of these borders. We want to make sure we're consistent there. Let's change the background style. Let's make it orange. Let's make this white. 16. And let's bold it. And we probably don't need an icon. Full. Okay, that's starting to look better. Sign up for the webinar. Now, let's make this a little smaller. Let's just preview this and see how this looks like, okay? Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Of course, a lot of lorem ipsum text. I just don't want to bore you guys with the copy here right now, but considering how we've only spent maybe like half an hour in this is probably not bad, right? This webinar is for you if sign up for the webinar now. This is perfect. I think I could probably spend a little bit more time design-wise sprucing this up, but you kind of get the gist of this, right? Now, remember how at the beginning of the video, I told you that I uploaded 2 different images of Tony? I did this because I want to show you how easy it is to use Thrive Optimize to A/B test a series of landing pages to see if there's a difference in conversions when you use one image over the other one, or when you use a different headline over the other page that you're testing it against. So let's do that really quick. Let's jump over into Thrive Optimize. And here I can duplicate the page that I was currently working on. You're gonna see that it's the same exact page. I did update the fonts here while you were not watching to use Enter. If you've watched my videos for years now, you'll know that Enter is just my favorite font ever. I use it for pretty much anything that I work on. But now I can change the image that I'm currently using, right? So I can use Tony with a sweater instead of a shirt. Let's not use the caption text, and see if people like or opt in into my webinar if they look at Tony wearing a sweater more than if they look at Tony wearing a shirt. Or I could change the heading. I could change the, I don't know, perhaps the color of my button. Instead of using orange, we could use goldish, and see if people like that even better. And then I can jump back into let's save, and let's jump back into Thrive Optimize. And I can change how I want my traffic to be distributed, right? So if I want 70% of the traffic that lands on my site to look at the first variation that we worked on, I can control that right here within Thrive Optimize. Pretty nice. And I can have as many variations as I want. Now, be wary of the fact that, if you have 10 people landing on your landing page, you're not going to be able to come up with any conclusive analysis on what really is happening. I mean, your sample population would be so small that you can't really make any decisive conclusions of, I've had 10 people land on my landing page. 7 of those people have looked at one variation and 3 other people have looked at a different variation, and this happened. I mean, you got to have a really big, well, not a really big, but at least a couple hundred people land on each different page to make sure that the conclusions that you're arriving to make sense. Okay, if 5 people look at your landing page, your sample population is not big enough, because only 5 people have looked at your landing page. Those 5 people might have been talking to their neighbor as they were landing on your page. Okay, just keep that in mind. But it's really cool that we can make these sort of A/B test comparisons with Thrive Optimize right within our page, to test different buttons, different headlines, different images, and see which ones get people to convert more on our offer. Pretty nifty stuff. All right, hopefully this video was helpful in showing you how easy it is in reality to build and design a good, rock solid landing page that can get people to opt into your webinar funnel. If you have any questions for me about anything that I've shown you in this video, or anything that you want me to spend a little bit of more time on, please let me know down in the comment section below. And of course, as I usually say, if you want to learn more about Thrive Suite and all of the great things that you can do with it, be sure to check the link down in the description box. I truly appreciate your time, and I'll see you soon. Thanks again. Bye.